Can a business loan hurt your personal credit? This is a great question, and I oftentimes get this asked. It's a yes and a no if you do this specific thing that could go against you, and if you do the opposing thing, it won't. I'll reveal what those are in a moment, but before I do, welcome in. If it's your first time here, my name is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm a business loan broker expert, a business funding expert, as well as a pre-underwriter slash underwriter who's been doing this for many years, helping people navigate their ways to funding for credit, cash flow, collateral, liquidity, equity, real estate in the mix, and so much more. I've been doing this again for many years. I know my stuff. I'm much more introverted. Actually, I am introverted, not much more. I'm very cerebral, analytical. I'd say the brains of the operations, brains behind the scenes, I like to be more of the person pulling the strings, looking at formulas, data, mathematics, improving systems. I enjoy doing a lot of that. So I review a lot of financials, tax returns, P&Ls, balance sheets, do a cash flow profitability analysis, debt schedules. I go deep into things and I run multiple businesses. This is one of many. And I'm telling you that for transparency, nothing more. So you know that this is also a real person who understands business math, and can go deep, not just surface level stuff like a lot of the times you see out there. If you've already gone through that with others or other organizations and stuff like that, I'm not saying all of them are like that, but if you're not getting deep into things and understanding more than just funding, well, wouldn't you want to have more than just funding and somebody in your corner who can really help you out long term? I'd rather have that. People over profits. I have myself together as a person and in business. I've done a lot of personal growth and development, mindfulness, meditation, and just becoming the best person that I can be for you, for everyone else, my family, and my friends. Loyalty, you don't have to question that with me. I have a lot of integrity. I'm very trustworthy. I'm usually the one having to question that of others. I'm very protective of my energy and my time as an entrepreneur, and time is a limited resource, as is energy. We only have so much in the day to give, and we have to make sure we channel it and focus it correctly. I'm very accountable, responsible, and I have my character together, my characteristic traits. So, to go back to this, can a business loan hurt your personal credit? Yes and no. Why can it hurt your credit? Well, for one, we have to look at what we're doing and where we're going. How are we going about it? How is that organization, that institution, that private lender looking at the file and looking to underwrite it? So there are different types of loans out there, traditional FDIC bank loans and just bank loans in general, SBA loans. You have the private lenders. If you've heard of merchant cash advances, these are different than traditional business loans, and these are based upon your future receivables. And we'll get to that in just a second. But to answer this, can a business loan hurt your personal credit? If yes, what are the contingencies to this? And what does it all entail? So for one, usually you'll have to personally guarantee. And a lot of the times it won't be reported to your personal credit. If you start missing a payment, a couple of payments, again, it just depends on the institution. How the file is being underwritten is one thing, but the assessment on missing a payment, a couple of payments, do you have a stop payment? Have you done a reconciliation? Have you done a modification? Can you do a modification? And then is there a judgment now? Is there then now a collection in place? Did it go into a default? Is there a past default with the judgment in place? Is it in collections? Once it goes through that, you can see it affecting your personal credit, this being reported. So my thing to you, without saying it to you directly, if you just inferred, don't miss payment or don't miss payments. If you have hardship, communicate that with your lender, your organization. See how they can help you. Was this part of the contract that you could do this? So there's a lot of stuff to look at. And is there a property involved? Are you being asked to fully collateralize 80, 90%, up to 80, up to 90%, or 100%? What is that amount? What are you getting loan to value? And these are different topics I can segment into, but I don't want to get so much into that, and all that will be predicated on this. Are there liens already? Tax liens, getting taxed, UCC liens, blanket liens on real estate. Is it encumbered? Equipment, is that encumbered? Account receivables, is that encumbered? Where are these liens, if any, or where will they be placing them? That's very important. Is a UCC lien one? Can you get more than one elsewhere? Another like loan if you had to somewhere else or the same? Would there be another UCC filing? Would this need to be corrected, released, paid off first? Like those are the things you have to understand when you're going through this. And then if you're going through collections on a lot of this and you're looking for debt restructuring or a settlement, I help people with that. In most of those cases, we're dealing with the merchant cash advances. Those meaning you have a future percentage or you have percentage of your future receivables and what you're giving back to the lender. And there's predictability there. When there's no predictability, it makes it difficult for the lender to get back what they've issued you, the amount they've issued you, how much is remaining on the balance. And so a lot of the times people seek out refuge in those restructuring, refinance, consolidation, try to put it underneath a new loan to service the old existing debt. Do you have enough global debt service coverage ratio? These are things that I can calculate. And also, if you were to receive an amount over how much in the term, over how much percentage, is there enough room to give you that much? Or are you not able to because of current cash flow and the expected cash flow demands? That's just part of it. And not even accounting so much for the profitability right now that I'm bringing up, but there is that part too that I have to look at. And there are more details, the layout, your marketing plans, advertising plans, how do you plan to get new customers? What do you do with current customers? What's your average order value? How do you best determine that you'll have X amount of people here next month versus the month after that? Like, there's a lot more to look at, but in general, you won't see it being reported, especially with these uh, private lenders, like with the merchant cash advances, is those won't be reported to the personal credit unless you start getting into these issues like collections and stuff like that. Missing payments, reported missed payments, judgment, collections, derogatory notes. Uh, and through the process, again, it depends on the underwriting one thing, but also the institution, where you're going to go get funding, any stipulations, anything that they have to be more conservative about with your file. Does it just start off as a soft credit pull and then it turns into a hard pull, or is it soft pull throughout the whole thing? Like with MCAs and hybrid cash advances, merchant cash advances stands for MCA. These you can see a soft pull throughout the whole thing. Other times, it depends on your revenue level, credit level, the tier of lender. You could see a hard pull after, like, when you get to the point of contracts or just before and stuff like that. When those are issued, when there's another check here at this point, okay, then there's these little things. And there's different parts of that process when you go through underwriting, so it can look different. And is it a hard pull to start with? And a lot of the times with the MCAs, you see soft pull throughout the whole thing. Other times it can be soft pull, excuse me, that then turns into a hard pull at that stage that you need to get to, and then to get to that finish line. And so it just depends again on the institution, what you're going through. Traditional loans, see a hard pull oftentimes, and if it isn't, then it just depends again on the circumstances. SBA loans, things like that, that can drop your credit for the meantime, but your best benefit is what? getting the funding to grow and expand your business, increase your ROI, increase your current margins, which you're operating at now. You need to lower your expenses. You need to mitigate risk. You need to bridge more cash flow for the next coming months. You have a contract in place that you couldn't fulfill on, so you're trying to make other payments to other things. So you're trying to get more loans or another loan. So there's quite a bit of that. And what I'd like to end with here is if you want more information on getting help for funding, I have this questionnaire form down below in the description. And in here, there are two buttons you can click on and go fill out a form that I have. I'll show you in a second what that looks like. And what I do then is I analyze and I evaluate. I'm pre-underwriting. This is not an application. I've been so good at pre-underwriting, gotten proficient at it, and broken this down to a science. And I can analyze, evaluate, and give you a proper email response with the PDF included, showing you your best funding option and options thoroughly broken down like nobody else's business, and even showing you things not even publicly released. So in this PDF, I'll show you credit, cash flow, collateral, and then some, accounting and bookkeeping, business credit, credit repair. You have everything all in one place. So whenever you need to reference it, you can. And I'll show you what options are best, where to start page 3, end up on page 8, or whatever that is. Here's how you qualify yourself. Just look through those details. You'll self-qualify yourself. Here's how to get started if there's a link. So everything's in the review for the back end. Or if it's on the front end, here's how I'll ask for this. There's different parts of the process, and this is very energy and time efficient for everyone. And so down here is more information to learn more. Some of the clients that I've helped get funding, there are many more. I just put a handful of them there. More details here about myself. And so when you click one of these two, depending on what you have going on, please read this. This is just me like just being punctual and like, hey, very nice, but at the same time, I want you to understand that I don't like wasting my energy and my time. A lot of people in funding, like I have a high standard. I'm not saying you have to be me. I'm not saying that. We can work towards always becoming better every single day. And that's what I've done with my habits, my routines, personal growth, personal development. Being once an academic student studying chemical engineering, then got into business, got my degree through there. Going in, working in construction, manufacturing, warehousing, was once a rampage, a courier role, financial logistics for a huge contracting company servicing HP and others, and doing a lot of data, budgeting, ordering, shipping and receiving, coordination, lifting up some media boxes, and being underpaid, undervalued, underappreciated, going back on unemployment benefits and food stamp cards eventually, because the company made a transition, 50 plus people were relieved. Unfortunately, I'm one of them. And I had to find my way there. Do I go to another job, another career, get more certifications, go back to school? Instead, I said, let me start something. I got home. Long story short of it, at home, started searching, building a business in the digital marketing agency and lead generation space, the health space then around the same time, affiliate marketing, other ventures. Eventually, I made my way into the finance space after what I saw out there in this economy. And you're trying to give a lot back to as a small business and more, not just small businesses and within your community and the people that need you most, the smiles that you put on people's faces, their families, their friends, and them coming back to you over and over again, and you being the main person that they turn to when they need support and they need help in more ways than just funding. This goes far beyond funding for me. So here's the form. You'll enter these details. It's very well worth your time. And if this doesn't submit, like what's been happening is you might have to clear your cookies cache. Another thing too is I have a email tool, an autoresponder tool that sends out emails I can broadcast. And you might have not have known, but if you're a part of one of these types of email tools out there, and of course these are legit, a lot of people use them for automation and more connection. You may not have opened up an email and clicked through it, or you opened it, you didn't click through, and you're not opening up enough emails from others that you've been subscribed to and part of their list, and you just didn't know. But those servers, there's a lot of people on them, and they have to have great deliverability for everyone. So if you're somebody who's not opening and even clicking through to things, a lot of the times it tries to block you or just like kicks you off of it. And I'd have to find that out, obviously, like by seeing, oh, well, you didn't submit the form and you're telling me that it didn't go through. Well, it can be one of those two things. Oh, let me check with my email tool. Yes, you've been blocked. If you want to be unblocked, like that. It's happened before and I've helped out people get unblocked and stuff like that. Very simple stuff. So if that's the case too, there's a little chat widget down here. And I also have my number. So if it's not there, you can also see on my main site right here. Down here, I have a number. If I don't answer because I get busy and I don't just answer like that out of the blue, it can go to voicemail, mobile if so, text or so. reach out, email me. I'll have my email down below in the description. I'll also show you it's right here. And also email me right there. And then I also have my link tree right here. I'll try to leave this as one of, if not the very first link. And this will show you right here the different buttons you can go through and see more resources. Normally, the first through four are best, and there are more buttons here as you can see me scrolling. And the third one, you can get to the form just by clicking right there, and that should look familiar. And so right here, you have more information. If you have property address, you want to do any kind of real estate with me, I can help you, help out people with that. My story as a person, how it started, and then in business. And if you wanted to start a business yourself online, like I have other businesses, I can show you. I've guided people in building their online business with residuals month after month after month without having to start at zero and from complete scratch. So there's a model that I use with my other business and businesses primarily is where I use subscription membership based products that are digital based with higher profit margins, less overhead, less expenses to fulfill on, less customers to, or less to fulfill on a customer in terms of losing out on profits. So it's higher profits as opposed to physical products where it takes a lot more to put into a product. Now, everything is different out there. What's the cost to fulfill on a service? What's the cost to fulfill on a customer? What's the cost to fulfill on this product? And we can go on and on about that. But higher profit margins, I'll show you. And this is a challenge that I have put together. So you can learn more about that and getting a clone business of mine and learning more about what I do. And there's many organizations that I'm a part of, and I do things directly, indirectly, and I can help you in many more ways depending on what's the best thing for you. I'll also try to leave down below a way for you to have more cash back or the ultimate cashback savings and referral program if you want to save more, especially in this kind of economy, get more cash back with the uncertainty. And even when there is certainty for things out there like home and business expenses continuing to rise, you see the job market the way that is, the interest rates, the prices going up, price gouging, costs are up there, man. And you start looking at the energy crisis, the GDP, consumer price index, a lot of stuff out there, and it's just causing us to become much more sporadic. I understand the feeling. So I'll leave more details there. Go ahead and check that out to get started. One more thing too. In case you were wondering, do I have a social media presence and is this guy really legit? Yes, here. I've been helping out a lot of people, and at times I go live here on Instagram. So if you are following me at times in the week, I'm not on a set schedule. I'll pop up spontaneously if I have something to communicate to you about, or you guys can ask me, and I'll pop up in there. And then I also have my Facebook. There it is right there. And then here's my LinkedIn profile. I have others out there too for um, you to connect with me on, like a TikTok, but there's as much as I'm going to show you, at least for now. I could have brought up more social media profiles, but I've only brought up so many. So that'll be everything from me. Hopefully, you got a lot of value from this and you understand, can a business loan hurt your personal credit? There are many factors. There are many other things that I could have answered to you. And it's a yes and a no. And it just depends on payments, payment structure. Are you doing a modification? Can you do a modification? Is this going into a judgment? What's derogatory? What isn't? Is it in collections? How far in collections is it? Past defaults, the judgment in place. Were you trying to settle? And that could hurt credit. You'll see that at times, oftentimes. And then that's usually oftentimes too in like the MCA space, a lot of it. But it's the best thing you can do. And even if it doesn't settle, then okay, it doesn't affect the credit. That's one thing. But how far are you willing to go to get the funding, knowing that you have to be accountable, you have to be responsible. And especially like when we go into a restructuring phase, there's different scenarios for that. So if you're missing payments, that's one big indicator, and then just going from there. So that is all from me. Hope you got a lot of value. Look in the description down below for more information. Also, I'll leave more details in the comments, some links or a link if so you can learn more and get started. And in the description, again, I'll leave more information there as well. So that is all for now. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.